lot of you out there will probably never read Anna Karenina, even though you'll be deprived of an extraordinary experience taking place inside your imagination. I thought at least I might try to give you a little sample of what it's like to read this damn novel. First and foremost, if you have a powerful imagination, this novel will vividly transport you back to aristocratic Russia of the 19th century. The characters pop to life with this profound depth that is incredibly difficult to find anywhere in literature. We get to see in depth the relationship between the aristocrats and the musics. The musics, that is the former serfs, now paid workers, is a totally unique dynamic, which we're so lucky was captured by Tolstoy. It's a scenario that is really only seen during this one small snippet of history. Here, I'll give you a broad point about Tolstoy, but Tolstoy very commonly employs a technique that goes against conventional writing wisdom. And everyone loves going against conventional wisdom. Just unbelievable. And he does it very effectively. The principle he goes against is show, don't tell. Everyone heard this in school like 50 times. This is like the fundamental principle of writing that everyone knows about. But Tolstoy rebels against the common wisdom and tells very blatantly. He does it in such a rich way that it becomes earned. These passages that I'm talking about often take place at the beginning of a chapter. They have the same tone as lore from a fantasy novel. It's sort of like the setup for the actual story. He brings two or more characters together and explains their relationship or some features of the new character, expanding such that going into the scene, you already have an overarching understanding of the inner workings of their relationship. And after he sets up their relationship with this very blatant telling part, he moves on to the showing, and that's when he gets descriptive and tells the actual story. So what about the nitty-gritty? What is Tolstoy's prose like at a micro level? Well, his flow is smooth and often repeating the same word, not to the detriment of the prose, surprisingly. It's the sort of prose that just sucks you in, hypnotizing you such that you forget you're even reading and you become entirely transfixed by what's happening. The experience of the characters is vividly described such that they become some of the most relatable people you'll know. I recall crying when I reread War and Peace. Spoilers. Pausing here so you can decide if you want War and Peace spoiled for you, as though you could ever spoil War and Peace. What I was gonna say was that I cried when I got to the part with Prince Andrei. Just seeing him again alive. He's like a friend that I hadn't seen in years. That's how connected to these characters you'll become. Same thing with old Anna Karenina. Every single character is relatable such that even if you disagree with them or find them reprehensible, you still empathize with them. Vronsky, who seduces Anna into the affair, genuinely doesn't understand what he's doing is wrong. Anna, who's been deprived of love by her robotic husband for years, feels as though this affair is the only thing that keeps her vitalized. Alexei Alexandrovich, the robotic husband, the cuckold, is an extremely diligent man who follows a strict order in his life. Love is not something he understands. He's neglected to love his wife, but from his point of view, based on his understanding, he's done everything correctly. The point is that this novel is just as rich and complicated as life itself, and that's what gives this novel such a life. The novel is essentially broken up into mini-stories, which sometimes connect to the larger story, and sometimes it doesn't connect to the larger narrative. And that can be kind of annoying at times. There are some of these random digressions that sort of pull you out of the central story, but the digressions do prove worthwhile. They always contain a lesson, and it's shockingly unbelievable spaghetti and meatballs how much wisdom Tolstoy is able to capture in this novel. So these digressions come into the story and you're like, Tolstoy, what are you doing, bro? Why are we suddenly here? It's sort of annoying, but there's always a good reason. The digression will end with some just really extraordinary piece of wisdom, often the sort of wisdom that is difficult to encapsulate or communicate in a sentence or a law or a phrase. And that, in my view, is precisely the thing that literature is best used for. It's for communicating those lessons and wisdom that we cannot articulate easily and are best done so by virtue of stories. So to summarize, obviously I think Anna Karenina is totally tamales, but this isn't exactly a review here. What I've tried to do is just capture the essence of the novel and explain what the scenario is like, such that if what I'm describing is something that's appealing to you, maybe you'll pick up a copy yourself. That's all.